Hey, what's happening, guys? So I was thinking about making a reaction video with all the stuff that I was excited about from the state of play, but then Summer Game Fest happened, and I didn't know that was happening, and then the Nintendo Direct happened, which also I wasn't aware of, so I figured I would just make one video and lump everything that I'm interested in into one single video instead of just making one for each, because there were quite a lot of games that were announced. A lot of them I had my eye on, a lot of them I wasn't aware of, and some of them I kind of lost interest in. So that's what I'm going to cover in this video. And yeah, without further ado, let's go and take a quick look. So first of all, this is the game. This is by far my most anticipated game of 2026, and it's of course the Duskbloods. We didn't really get much of a reveal or gameplay trailer like we were expecting, but we did get a little small trailer, a 1-minute trailer at the Nintendo Direct, and that one basically is just showing a little bit more of lore. I don't think we were shown any new characters. There's John Duskblood right there. We did see this new moon or blood moon scene where it seems like that's the reward that you're supposed to collect, the blood. But yeah, it's just basically announcing that there will be a closed network test at some point in the summer, and there was a tweet by the Duskbloods tweet account where they were saying just, keep your eyes open for more details. So I'm definitely going to try to get a code for that network test. This game, I mean, for those of you guys who are also into Souls games, this is Miyazaki's first game since Elden Ring, and this game has been in development since 2019, I think, since Sekiro was being in development still. And the idea was that it was going to be developed for the Switch 1, but then I guess they decided to take a little bit, once the Switch 2 was announced and with the new capabilities for the hardware, they decided to continue to develop that title for the Switch 2 now. So, in some of the interviews they were saying, FromSoft was saying that they were able to better adapt their original vision for the game with the new capabilities that the Switch 2 afforded them. So, I mean, this is honestly everything about this game. I'm not much of a PvP person, but this is going to be a hybrid. It's going to be a PvPvE. So you're competing against, so it's 8 players total, and you're competing against 7 other players to get the, I forget what the objective name is, something with the blood. But yeah, if that's sort of like the victory condition, but there's the main one, but there's more than one victory conditions, and it seems to be like the mechanics that they've foreshadowed, where there's more than one victory condition, the way that you can also have personal objectives, the relationships between characters, like there's roles, for example, and some players can be assigned a destined rival or a destined ally role, which is like, all of these elements sound fascinating to me, and I can't wait to be able to play the network test. Hopefully I'll get lucky. But yeah, this game looks absolute. Just like FromSoft's vision is unparalleled, in my opinion, in the video game industry currently. They are making the best games. Creativity wise, just look at these worlds, the soundtrack, everything is just magnificent, epic. The proportions of these games, they just get more and more absurdly just mind-blowing, and yeah, I think they're on top of their game, and I can't wait to see more about this game. But yeah, hopefully we'll get a release. My estimation is that it's going to be after GTA 6. They're probably going to take as much time as they can developing this, so probably December 2026, although it could be October before GTA. As far as I know, everybody's avoiding that. My next most anticipated game is Stellar Blade Blood Rain. I was expecting this to be announced, but look at this. The combat is just everything's still there. You can see that, I forget what that is called, when you get the blue glint, and then you can teleport behind and do kind of a back a hit to their back. But yeah, it looks like this is more like fist fighting as opposed to blades. She does have a blade that comes out of her elbow, but look, like everything is right about this. You just know when a sequel is going to be faithful to the original when you get the vibes like this from this trailer. It's like everything is the same but better. You know, like all this dodging that's very much like boxing influenced. Everything is just amazing. I mean, I know there's some controversy about the protagonist looking younger than the original one, but I mean, be that as it may, I think for those of us who are mostly concentrating on the gameplay, I think this is amazing. It's just in every way it looks like an improvement or an evolution of what Stellar Blade was, and I cannot wait to play this game. It looks absolutely amazing. Yeah, the studio is like knocking it out of the park. It looks mind-blowing. Okay, so this was another one that I had kind of given up hope on, and it's a Dragon's Dogma 2 DLC. I mean, the previous game came out, 2024, end of 2023? I don't know. I think a lot of us had just kind of given up, and the copium apparently worked. We're finally getting a DLC for Dragon's Dogma 2, and this looks really interesting. I played the crap out of this game. I was mostly just curious about the game. You know, I think initially what drew me in was the fantasy world, but I didn't really know anything about the game. Like I never played the first one. I basically just saw some content creators playing the game or talking about it, and it just seemed like a fun game. And my main complaint about this game is that it's not really that difficult, but it does what it sets out to do really well. So basically, their world building, I think, is fantastic. The combat is very stylish and very flashy. So, I mean, none of the enemies that I've faced seem to be difficult to me, but I mean, everything kind of, you can, once you level up and you get like the good weapons, like you're steamrolling everything, but it's really fun. But yeah, the pawn system was also another really cool touch that I had never played any game like that before. And I was able to play with pawns that belonged to other friends of mine, and they were able to play with my pawns. So that was a really, really cool interactive kind of touch to these games that I really enjoyed. So yeah, looking forward to that. Lords of the Fallen 2 is another one that I'm really, really looking forward to. I've known about this one for a while. They've been really good about keeping the players informed, the fan base. They've had these Lifting the Veil episodes on their YouTube channel where the main developers, I guess, the game director and like creative directors, they'll discuss aspects about the game and everything that they've showcased. Like the combat looks more grounded. It doesn't look as floaty, which was the main gripe. Oh, this is really cool. They show the katana, which is a new weapon type. The world, for me, the world building for this game was one of the best aspects about the game. And also like this is really cool. They showcased a return of a great sword, which is Ravager Gregory's sword, which was really cool. But yeah, really looking forward to that one. I played the crap out of the first one. So this was another game that I had semi on my radar. I remember there was a brief trailer for this shown off at, I think it was the Game Awards last year, but it's the same director as Ico and Shadow of the Colossus and The Last Guardian. And this game, we're not really shown a lot of gameplay, but just look at the world, look at the characters, look at the vibes, the music, everything just looks, the scope of this game, the story, if you just pay attention to all the elements, like everything, like the lighting, just the way that they convey a lot of what the world is about without really telling you specifically. And I get the same energy that I get from watching Christopher Nolan movies or trailers, where it's like you can tell that they have a really ambitious vision for this game, and just look at that. I don't know what's happening, but I know that it's something grand and just absolutely epic, and I cannot wait to see more about this game, to find out more about this story. Like, we can see glimpses of what the gameplay could look like, but yeah, look at this. It's absolutely mesmerizing. Yeah, we get some mecha combat, or mech, I guess I should say, Gen Atlas. Yeah, so this one I'm definitely looking forward to. I already went ahead and wishlisted. This one is a game that I had played the original Mortal Shell, and to be honest, I didn't really get into it. I liked the world, the visuals, but the combat kind of just didn't do it for me. I played maybe 2 hours and then just kind of gave up. But look at this world building. Look at this art direction. It's just as good as it gets for this kind of dark fantasy video game. It's just, it has this really weird mix that I love between sort of medieval dark fantasy with like alien worlds. And it's just, I mean, unfortunately, I don't have a PC, but I know that there's an open beta for the PC version of the game, and I wish there was one for console. I'm thinking about buying a PC at some point in the near future, but unfortunately, I won't be able to play this until there's maybe an open beta for console. But yeah, look at this. Just visually, it's so striking. Just the moods are absolutely just awe-inspiring. Yeah, that's the best thing that it's the only thing that I can think of, really. But yeah, we're showing a little bit of the combat here, which also looks really fun and interesting. And one cool thing about this game is that I guess the different kind of build that you can get depends on the shells that you unlock, or that as you progress the story, you get access to different shells. So I'm really interested in seeing what that looks like. But yeah, there's a lot of, you can see the emphasis on like finisher moves here. The combat looks weighty. I love that you get like a shotgun for this, which is so unusual and unexpected, because this is, for all intents and purposes, you would expect this just to be swords and melee kind of combat. But it's nice to see that we have more modern type of ranged options for this, and it kind of goes with the whole alien vibes for this game. But yeah, they showcase here, I think you're buffing your weapons with poison, it seems like, and they showcase like your typical grunt, but then you see like what looks to be an elite enemy, and then you can see that he uses the shotgun for a different kind of attack, sort of like an aerial attack, as opposed to just like shooting them from just like point blank like he did earlier. But yeah, this one is Phantom Blade Zero. This was the latest trailer that we got at the PlayStation Showcase, I think it was, the State of Play. And this is mostly a cinematic trailer. So we're not really seeing actual gameplay here. But this game has been in development for I don't know how many years, but I think originally it's supposed to come out maybe last year, or maybe this, I don't know, but like it feels like it's been delayed at least once from what I remember. But it looks to be a really, really cool game. Another game with like a really ambitious vision for not just the combat, but like the story and the world. And there's been a number of things about this title that have caught my attention. So yeah, can't wait to play this. This is the Black Flag remake, Black Flag Resynced. And as some of you may know, Assassin's Creed Shadows was my first Assassin's Creed game that I ever played, and I really enjoyed it. I could see why some people love the franchise, or a lot of people love the franchise, but at the same time, I can see why a lot of the criticisms that I've heard over the years about Assassin's Creed, I could see why some people are kind of losing interest in the franchise. But as far as I understand, this was one of the stronger titles. So I'm really curious to check this out. And then from what I've seen, other content creators that have gotten to play the game for a few hours, their feedback is overwhelmingly positive. So, some of you guys watching, I think might have gotten into or might have gotten subscribed to my channel through my Assassin's Creed Shadows build videos. So definitely curious to play this game and come up with build ideas and post those. So yeah, look forward to those. I really look forward to playing this game. It looks like it's going to be a banger. So yeah, can't wait to find out more. And then it comes out in about a month from now. So next up is Crossfire, which this game was not on my radar at all until I saw this trailer. And this is basically a new game from a studio that was formed from developers that came from Naughty Dog and Bungie, I think. And it, everything they said about this game was like, it's story driven, which you can see clearly in the trailer. I really like how weighty the dialogue seems and how well performed it is. I mean, graphically, it looks amazing. It doesn't look like mind-blowing, but it looks really, really well done. But some of the systems that they described look to be really, kind of original from what I could understand. They talked about adaptive cover and other, I can't remember everything they said, but a lot of the things that I saw in this trailer caught my attention. But yeah, first and foremost, the fact that it's ex-Naughty Dog devs, and the fact that the premise of this game is, from what I understand, is you are a team of two people that are members of opposing factions that have to work together in order to overcome this, I think it's some sort of virus or something like that. So everything really appeals to me about this post-apocalyptic. I'm not really crazy big into shooters, but I do enjoy shooters. I really liked Remnant 2, and some of my friends were trying to get me to get into Arc Raiders, which I still have not checked out, just because there were other games that I was playing. But yeah, the story element in this game is very appealing to me, and the performances and the good writing, that from what you can see here, all of those things make me really excited about this game. So definitely going to check that out when it comes out, and hopefully I'll cover it on the channel. So then we have Control Resonant, which I still need to finish Control, which I really do like that game, but it's just one of those things where for X, Y, or Z, I just have not been able to get back into it, and I ended up uninstalling it to install another game that I wanted to play. So I do want to finish that before this one comes out. Who knows if I'll be able to, but at one point or another, I'm going to check this one out, just because the world and the story look to be so creative and unique, which is definitely something that I'm drawn to naturally. Just look at this. It's crazy. But yeah, really, really interesting game by the looks of it. Then we have God of War Laufey, which this one, I don't know. I have like mixed feelings about. I don't know how I feel about the cube, the Jello cube. The combat also looks to be kind of a departure from what we know. Like, I was never too big of a of a fan for God of War. I've only played 2018 and Ragnarok, so I'm not like a hardcore God of War fan. I don't know the old games, but from what I understand, a lot of the combat that was showcased here is trying to go back to the roots of God of War games, which is the ability to jump and do like aerial combos and that kind of stuff, which is obviously something you can see here. I think for me and anybody that has only played the newer games, it can feel a little jarring, just because, yeah, it just feels less serious in a way. It just feels more video gamey, and I think they were trying to make a conscious decision with God of War 2018 and Ragnarok to make it a little bit more grounded or more serious or realistic or whatever you want to call it. I mean, as realistic as you can get with the fantasy game where you have all these crazy powers. But you know what I mean. It's just less video gamey, I guess, would be a way of saying it. And this game was, so from what I understand, this was Cory Barlog's project, which a lot of us were wondering about. But I was looking at there was like an interview that was released with this, and in that it's Cory Barlog interviewing the game's director. So apparently this was his project, like right after 2018 released, until this lady, I forgot her name, but until she came back to Santa Monica and then she took over. So that kind of leaves me wondering, did Cory start a new project? Like, what's he working on? Because a lot of us were just highly anticipating his new project, which was, secret up until recently. And we all kind of assumed that this was his secret project, but now who knows what he's been working on. I wish I knew more as to why, the decision to stop directing this and giving this project to somebody else. A lot of the discourse that I've seen online is this game looks very 2018, which I don't think it's meant in a positive way. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but I think it's levied as a kind of criticism about the game, this overall tone, which we'll see how it translates. But yeah, the combat just kind of doesn't look like 100% like my cup of tea, but we'll see. It could grow on me. I'm definitely going to check it out. But mostly the thing that I was curious about, or the most curious about with this game, is if it's going to be a continuation as far as the story. Not just like, we know that this takes place at the same time as 2018, but as far as the improvement to their storytelling that they had with these games, which Ragnarok I felt like was a huge improvement over 2018 personally. So that's what I'm curious about, and I think that's the main reason that I want to play this. But yeah, looks epic combat wise, and they obviously know what they're doing. The music sounds epic. I'm sure it's Bear McCreary as well. But yeah, kind of looking forward to this one, but I'm not 100% sure. Then, of course, GTA 6, which is, everybody's waiting for this game. This is going to be my first GTA game. I've never really played any of the other ones. Maybe I did play one of them like a long time ago. I don't even know which one, at a friend's house for like a few minutes. So for all intents and purposes, I've never played GTA games, but this looks fantastic. This is, I think, the first... this is like the reveal trailer for this game, and just the scope of these games, especially this one, and how realistic it is, and like the portrayal of a lot of things that just seem absolutely insane, but are, part of American culture, because they are, I mean, at one point or another, if you live here, you're bound to see some crazy stuff like what you can see in this trailer. So I've seen some of it myself. And I think that's the appeal for a lot of people that, want to get that experience. We all play video games, I think, in one way or another to experience things that are not within our scope of, life experience. But yeah, super interested about what this is going to actually be like to play. Okay, so these are the games that I'm no longer interested in. And we're going to start with Horizon's Hunter's Gathering. Horizon Hunter's Gathering, I think. So yeah, just looking at, we all knew from way back when the first leak about this game came out, where they said it was a glimpse of what the art direction was going to be like, and it was very cartoonish. And then unfortunately we got this confirmation with this, which actually was even worse than what I expected it to be. A lot of the things about that you can see in this trailer about this game are just incredibly unappealing as a Horizon fan. Just the amount of grinning that there is in this game, in this trailer, is just super cringe, and just the characters are not really likable, especially because we're supposed to believe that these characters were like, you know, legendary hunters that nobody knew about and that have powers that are somehow exceed Aloy's powers, even though she's supposed to be unique in this world for being such a gifted warrior. But then you have these guys, so it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, everything clashes lore wise with Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. So yeah, this is absolutely a game that I'm not interested in. Onimusha was a game that I was actually interested in, but they had the demo available after they released this last trailer at, I think it was the State of Play, and I played it, and unfortunately just did not like it very much. It was, I don't know if it was just because early, you know, I think you get about maybe like 30 minutes, like the very first the area in the beginning, and it just doesn't show you enough about the systems. I don't know if there's more, but from what I saw, it just, the combat didn't it just didn't do it for me. It felt really stiff, and it didn't really have a flow, and it just didn't really feel satisfying. It felt really button mashy, and the difficulty, I played on the hardest difficulty for that they had for the demo, and it's just a cakewalk. So if the demo is any indication of what the actual full game is going to be like, then yeah, this is definitely just something that I don't think is for me. You know, it looks cool. Like, I was really interested in the premise. I mean, I know it's supposed to be Musashi, which is a real historical figure in Japan. He's one of the most famous swordsmen to have ever lived. So Miyamoto Musashi, you know, as soon as I knew that was supposed to be him, I was very intrigued about this game. But from what I saw in the demo, not really my cup of tea. And lastly was the Wolverine game, which I was mildly interested in when they showed that first trailer. I think it was also the Game Awards. But honestly, the more I thought about this, like, first of all, it's just Wolverine doesn't work for a video game, in my opinion, which you could call me wrong or whatever, but you know, the whole thing about Wolverine is that he's immortal, and the whole thing about video game is that there has to be failed states. So you have to be able to be killed in a video game, because otherwise there's no stakes, especially for this kind of game. Like, otherwise you can just run around and kill everything and not ever die. But you do have an HP bar, as you can see here. So that's the first thing that kind of puts me off about this game. Like, the more that I thought about this, it kills the whole thing about Wolverine. Like, the fact that you can be killed because he's immortal. So, you know, I'm sure that I'm not like a comic guy, but I'm sure that there's going to be reasons why in the comics there are stakes for Wolverine that I'm unaware of, that would make maybe a video game make more sense. But yeah, just based on that alone. But secondly, I didn't like the combat. It doesn't really feel like it flows as well as I would want it to. And this, like, the whole, like, bad guy is very stereotypical. All the dialogue was generic as hell. And this just seems like a video game that has updated graphics, but everything else just looks very kiddie. You know, it doesn't look like it's made for adults. I mean, beyond the gore, because there's a lot of gratuitous gore in this game, which that's another issue that I had with it. It's like, it's so gory that you just become desensitized immediately. Like, what we see here is somebody gets clawed, like their face clawed in, and I don't know. It just, I feel like after 2 minutes, it becomes meaningless. It doesn't have any impact. It's just violence for the sake of violence. So if they had used it more sparingly, I think it would be more impactful, but it's just so gratuitous that just overall gave me really bad vibes. I played a little bit of Spider-Man 2, and just, I think it's just maybe these games, they're not my cup of tea. The dialogue is very kiddie, very like assuming that your intellect is that of a 10 to 12-year-old. So yeah, I don't know, just very off-putting, this game. And like I said, the combat, just the way that it just looks so choppy and so button mashy, and just no stakes, no skill, like everything that I appreciate about games. This is a power trip in like the worst way that I can imagine. And one thing that I found funny about this is that the lady that's supposed to be a Jean Grey or whatever looks like the lady from Control. I don't know if it's just me, but yeah. Anyway, that's gonna be it for the video. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, stay tuned for any content that I'm gonna probably make for any or all of these games that I covered in this video. And let me know how you guys feel about these games or any other games that you're stoked about in comments, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Peace.